All right, let's go to this. Ben Shapiro still on the. It seems like every week he's got a new favorite freshman woman congressperson that he is obsessing about.
I think Ilhan's his favorite.
Ilhan is his favorite now. Well, because in the attempt to deny the obvious truth that hate crimes against Muslims, against Jews, against really anybody who is not white in this country or not Christian has gone up since the entrance into the race by Donald Trump. And the Republican Party, which enabled Donald Trump's rise, which trained its electorate to vote for a guy like this, that has excused time and time again rhetoric that ranges from, I'm sure there's some decent non-rapist Mexicans, to, we're going to ban Muslim countries, Muslim immigrants, to just, we're going to charge refugees money if they're seeking asylum, and on and on and on. I'm sure there are good people on both sides, the whole thing. In their desperate attempt to hide and deny their own complicity in this stuff, whether they dress it up as like, we're just exploring ideas here. We're rebels. We're talking about stuff that was, hasn't been as popular since we were talking about eugenics or something. They are constantly looking for other people to blame for what they know ultimately is a function of their politics. And here is Ben Shapiro trying to somehow tie Ilhan Omar into the white supremacist who shot up a synagogue a couple of days ago.
As I said before, if you are blind to anti-Semitism from one particular side of the aisle because it favors your political position, you are not in the fight against anti-Semitism. You are part of the problem. If anti-Semitism is just another political club to be wielded, if Ilhan Omar...
Pause it. It's just amazing because one could be forgiven for assuming that was the way he was about to introduce his apology. Right. When anti-Semitism is just simply used as a political club. And with that said, I had an epiphany last night and I'm going to retire. And I'm going to go work somewhere else and do something else with my life because I realize what I have been doing has been so wrong. But instead, he turns to Ilhan Omar.
You're part of the problem. If anti-Semitism is just another political club to be wielded, if Ilhan Omar is given the credibility to speak out against anti-Semitism while routinely engaging in anti-Semitism, she has a lot of the same opinions about Jews that the white supremacist had in that manifesto. In that manifesto, the shooter basically effectively says about Jews that they control the world media, that they control the way money runs, that they control opinion about Israel. Am I going to
pause it. Now, Ilhan Omar has said none of those things. None of the things she's ever said could even be remotely interpreted by that. The closest she's ever said is that the PAC that has in its mission statement to impact the public opinion of Israel in this country does it by expending money on candidates. Just like Thomas Friedman said, although Thomas Friedman said it a little more aggressively and a little more pointedly and a little bit more studiously. But she never said any of the things he's lying about now. So just think how decrepit you have to be in your brain to make this case that we shouldn't politicize anti-Semitism as you are lying to politicize anti-Semitism and basically comparing Ilhan Omar to a white supremacist who has just shot somebody up and he has to lie about the similarities in their manifesto. And I want you to keep that in mind We don't need to hear Ben Shapiro anymore, because Ben Shapiro, when we talk about manifestos, when we talk about the implications, and I don't know what the point is he's making, that Ilhan Omar, and he lies about her opinions are similar to those of the shooter. But we know for a fact that the guy who shot up in Canada, which number is this one that we have here? The Quebec City mosque shooter. In the Washington Post, the guy's name, Bissonnette, appears to have obsessively visited the Twitter accounts of Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham, David Duke, Alex Jones, Mike Cernovich, Richard Spencer, and Bissonnette checked on the Twitter account of Ben Shapiro 93 times in the month leading up to the shooting. So if you want to talk about similarities in perspective, if you want to talk about inspiration for attacks like these, here's a video. Who did this video?
This is a clip from Vic Berger.
Vic Berger did a video comparing the rhetoric from Shapiro with the testimony, not the testimony, the interrogation of this guy Bissonnette. Listen to this.
Many Muslims are trying to kill Jews. End of story. This idea, we are all Muslim, no, we aren't. And the only people who think we are leftists who are fully insane, or Muslims who believe that we all should be Muslims and that they get to kill us if we disagree. So all of this politically correct nonsense, it's going to get a lot of people killed. They're coming for Western civilization. A lot more people will die because there are people who believe we are all Muslims.
Here's Bissonnette. I wanted to save people. Save people, they ask? Yes. From terrorist attacks.
How many Americans have
Bissonnette
to die
said.
for this crap?
I mean, I don't know if I can say that Shapiro inspired this guy, but we do know in terms of factually, this guy was obsessively checking the messages he was getting from Shapiro, and that his perspective, his fears, were completely aligned with the warnings that Shapiro was giving. So it's really stunning for this guy to come out and say this type of stuff.
If we're talking about manifestos, I actually read the one from the New Zealand guy, and I would like to see Ben Shapiro explicitly say how his views on the dangers of Muslim immigration differ from those expressed in those manifestos.
That would be very interesting to hear.
I mean, it's pretty shocking to hear Ben Shapiro going out and trying to make this argument.
Yeah, and he can stop using all Jews as an excuse, by the way, because most Jews do not agree with him.
Well, he would not, to be fair, he would not consider those Jews to be Jews. Because Ben Shapiro, completely inconsistent with with Jewish tradition, feels that he is the Pope of the Jews, apparently.
I'm the Pope of the Jews.
Or he certainly, it appears to act that way.